Hello and welcome to this short video about some of the new functionality associated with InfoWorks ICM 11.0. Specifically in this video, we're going to be talking about the new RiverReach Build All functionality that has been added. And what I have on screen here are three example RiverReach links, one on the left, one in the middle, and one on the right. And with them, they have their own cross-sections that are associated, as well as some varying components and representations of bank lines and 2D zones at their edges. And what we've done is we've added a new functionality set under the RiverReach menu. So under Model, RiverReach, there is now a Build All that's available, and that will work through these steps that you might have taken individually on individual RiverReaches in the past. In addition to the ability to automatically complete all of those steps with a single click, we now also have the functionality to do this with multiple RiverReaches at once. So as a quick example, in this particular case, what I'm going to do is select the center lines for all of these RiverReaches, and I will then build them using that functionality. I'm not going to select the bank lines, those yellow lines, at this particular moment in time. When I do that build all, we get two error messages that are received. So there's a warning, no bank connections were identified for construction for both RiverReach 3.1 and 5.1. Now if I look back at these RiverReaches that I've built, 3.1 is this one here, and 5.1 is this one here. We do have a 2D zone at the edge of the 1.1 RiverReach, which is why there was no error flagged for that particular one. If I double click on this RiverReach, we can see we now have the river sections that have come through from the cross-section survey data that's available. And we also have left and right riverbank data, which has been generated from the endpoints of the sections. You'll note that for this first example, we also have the 2D connection. The right 2D zone ID has been populated with the zone ID of the 2D, which is present there. When we come to the middle and to the right RiverReaches, you'll notice that even though we had a bank line present originally, that has not been recognized as part of this build process, and we've actually gone through the build process from section ends rather than utilizing the existing bank line. And the same is true for this particular one on the right here. In order to utilize existing bank lines, if I revert this process and select the three RiverReaches again, in order to utilize those bank lines, I should also have them selected at the beginning of the build process. Note that I've only selected one of the two available bank lines on this particular side of that RiverReach. When I now go through Model, RiverReach, Build All, and look at the output that's generated, we get the same for this RiverReach on the left. We get behavior for the center RiverReach, which now honors that bank line that was selected and uses the data from that. And for the final RiverReach, which we had the outer bank line selected, we do get that being utilized, and we also get the left one, which was selected. One final example here, if I select multiple bank lines for a singular RiverReach and then go through this build process, I get a message saying that the reach operation is terminated. And what has happened here is that the right bank can be created from any one of the following bank survey lines, 2 or 3, and that has then resulted in no RiverReach build in this particular instance. Now that's an example of how this function works and what kind of permutations we might encounter. There'll be many more, I'm sure, in the models that you work with, but these are some examples I wanted to show. In addition to this, I've got a model that has a single RiverReach. So if I select this center line and go through that same RiverReach build all process, we get a singular RiverReach which has been completed, and we can see that the bank line generation comes from the endpoints of the cross-section surveys in this particular case. Now in this example, I have a singular model which has multiple RiverReaches present within it. And what I can do here is go to the grids menu, select all of the RiverReaches from within the links, then go back to my model and open the lines menu. This will allow me to select all of the bank lines. So I hold down the control key and press on this. And if I now look back at the model, I can see that all of the individual RiverReaches as well as the bank lines have been selected. If I now go to Model, RiverReach, Build All, that process will build all of those RiverReaches. It will give me the warnings where there are no bank connections which can be utilized, but ultimately in the model I now have those RiverReaches all constructed. Where appropriate, the connections to the 2D will also exist. And I can click on one of these and I can go into the river sections to show that those are present. as well as some of the bank data that's been included. And alongside that, obviously, we have the left 2D zone ID in this case because we've got a 2D zone that intersects or overlaps, let's say, with the bank line boundary that we have here. And that's a quick overview of what's now feasible with this RiverReach build all functionality set. One thing to note is that when we do this without existing bank lines, the behavior is such that each individual RiverReach will get its own bank lines generated. It won't be a singular bank line that stretches across all the different RiverReach objects that exist. Hopefully you'll enjoy this functionality and be able to put it to good use. Thank you very much for listening.